My name is Joe Petracca, and I'm 63 years old, and I'm a school bus driver. Approximately about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'd say, it seemed like my arms, I was laboring to swing my arms, and my throat felt like something was kind of like blocking it, but going across my shoulders horizontally. I talked to a heart specialist. He said what we'd like to do is put something in my arteries, and if there was a blockage, he would dissolve it, he'd break it up. And he says, but if I find that there's damage in the artery walls or something, he says, I'm gonna have to put a stent. I said, well, I want to know more about it. He wasn't telling me much about what it was, and you know, so I says, well, I says, let me read up on it a little bit. But I didn't do that much reading on it. I just talked to my primary doctor about it, and you know, he seemed that you know, he was confident that it was the right thing to do. So in any event, I went down. I had the procedure done, angioplasty, I think they call it. And the doctor told me, he says, geez, for the most part, your vascular system's clear. He says, we got one area that's it's almost 90 to 95% blocked. He recommended that I put the stent in there. I didn't really want to, but I did. I didn't ask enough questions. I should have asked more questions. That's the only regret that I have. Ended up putting one large stent and one small stent. I believe that it was the femoral artery. After that, I was trying to recuperate, and they had me on a number of different medications. They had me on a heart medication. They had me on a cholesterol medication. They had me on a product called Plavix, and they had me on aspirins and this and that. After a 2-week period, I felt as though I was dying because of the medications. I just couldn't handle it. My system was just backing up, and I was just like, you know, getting weak. My heart was doing all kind of strange things. I was getting all kind of fibrillation of the arteries all over my body, at different places at different times. It was like a strange thing. And on top of it, the stents that they put in my body were 2 medicated stents that I had no knowledge of ahead of time. I just thought that they were metal stents that were going in. I had no idea that they were medicated, that they would give off medication for the rest of my life. I had no idea of that. So I was up the creek without a paddle. I saw Jim and Tricia's sign here for years, going to the beaches, Daniel chapter 1. Then I heard him on the radio in Rhode Island, and I said, oh, that's that Daniel chapter 1 in Portsmouth. So I immediately came down, introduced myself. It just happened that the day I was here, Jim was here, and it was like a deja vu meeting, like I've met him before. And I walked in and I said, wow, this is really something. So I told Jim what I had done and the decisions I made about putting the 2 stints in. And Jim was really, he was hurt by it, you know, and he said, well, I said, Jim, I says, where do I go from here? I says, this is what's happening to my body. I says, I'm dying. I'm doing a slow death here. He says, now I want you to do these 3 times a day, this and that. And it's just as soon as I started taking these products, I was like a new man. I said, wow, what a change. I couldn't believe it. I says, I'm actually gonna come out of this. I could feel my system just settling down. I had the digestive problems for years, where I always had trouble going to the bathroom, number 2. After I started using the colon cleanse and a couple other products that Jim has, the apple pectin, I never went to the bathroom so great again. You know, I mean, before, it was like unbelievable. I said, this is great. So I'm solving other issues that I had for years. And I had sinus problems throughout the years since I was a kid. And this stuff was all clearing up. I mean, stuff I was using for this was taking care of other things too. I'm fine today. I walk 3-4 miles a day. Sometimes I jog. The doctor says that he can't believe it. He says, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Here is a man and a woman that are dedicating their life to helping people that are beyond help. You know, I would have been dead. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't have made it because the medication would have killed me.